I never imagined that the woman I loved most in this world, the one I shared my dreams, my struggles, and my every single day with, would be the very person to destroy me. For a whole year, I had been living inside a lie, thinking my marriage was safe, trusting her every word, while she was hiding an affair behind my back. When the truth finally fell into my lap, it didn't come crashing like thunder, it came quietly, like a knife slipped between my ribs. And instead of screaming or confronting her in rage, I chose silence. I chose to walk away, leaving behind everything I had built, because sometimes the quietest exits are the loudest. It started as small suspicions, the kind you almost feel guilty for having. A late-night text she dismissed as work-related, a sudden change in perfume, the way she smiled at her phone like she hadn't smiled at me in months. I pushed those thoughts aside, telling myself I was paranoid, that she was busy, that marriage goes through phases. But every night when she stayed out late, when she avoided my touch, a little voice in the back of my mind whispered that something was wrong. For months, I drowned that voice. I focused on work, on friends, on anything that could keep me from staring at her when she thought I wasn't looking, searching for the woman I once knew. But cracks kept appearing. One night she came home smelling of cologne that wasn't mine. Another evening, when she thought I was asleep, she whispered into the phone, "I miss you too." My chest tightened, my pulse raced, but still, I said nothing. The breaking point came a year into my suspicions. I had stayed late at the office, finishing a project, and decided to surprise her with dinner. But when I walked into our home, it wasn't her voice greeting me, it was laughter. A man's laugh. Deep, comfortable, familiar with the walls of my house. I froze in the hallway, the takeout bag slipping from my hands, and I listened. Her laugh followed, the same laugh that used to be mine. I didn't need to see them together. I didn't need proof beyond that. In that instant, the past year made sense: her distance, her excuses, her lies. The woman I had promised my life to had already given her heart, her body, her trust to someone else. I backed out of the house quietly, my footsteps light as if I were a stranger in my own home. I didn't slam doors, didn't storm in and confront them. Instead, I sat in my car for hours, staring at the dark road ahead, my chest hollow. Anger came in waves, grief in floods, but beneath it all was clarity. If I confronted her, she'd lie, she'd cry, she'd twist the truth until I doubted myself. No, she didn't deserve my rage. She deserved my silence. The next day, while she was out, I packed a single suitcase. Just enough clothes, some documents, the essentials. I left my wedding ring on the dresser beside our wedding photo, the one where she had promised to love me forever. Then I walked out without a word, without a fight, without looking back. For weeks, I disappeared. I didn't answer her calls, didn't reply to her texts. At first, she bombarded me with messages: "Where are you? Why are you doing this? Please talk to me." But as days turned into weeks, her desperation shifted into anger. She accused me of being dramatic, of abandoning her. She begged, then blamed, then finally fell silent. I spent my nights in cheap motels, my days drowning in work, trying to numb the pain. The image of her with him haunted me, but so did the thought of how easily she had chosen him over me. It wasn't just betrayal, it was erasure. For a year, I had been nothing more than a placeholder while she built a secret life behind my back. Friends noticed my absence. Family asked questions. I dodged them all, unwilling to open the wound. Some nights I wanted to march back and demand answers, scream in her face, force her to admit everything. But then I'd remember the quiet of that night, the sound of their laughter, and I knew her truth had already been spoken. I didn't need her confession. Still, the silence ate at me. I had left without closure, without explanation, and though I told myself I didn't care, part of me wanted her to know I knew. So one evening, after months of running, I sent her a single message: "I hope he was worth it." She called me 20 times that night. I didn't answer once. The next morning, I blocked her number. Walking away quietly had been the hardest decision of my life, but with each passing day, I realized it was also the strongest. I hadn't given her the satisfaction of my pain, hadn't allowed her to twist the story in her favor. I had taken control of my own ending, and that was something she couldn't steal from me. But leaving was only the beginning. The affair had broken more than my trust. It had shattered my sense of self, my belief in love, my faith in the vows we'd once spoken. And as much as I wanted to forget, I knew the road to healing would be long. The silence I carried wasn't just for her, it was for me. My quiet exit was my way of reclaiming dignity in the face of betrayal. She would never see my breakdown, never see me beg, never see me crawl. All she would ever remember is that one day, I simply vanished, and her lies were left to rot in the empty house she had destroyed. And though my heart ached, though the nights were cold, I knew this: sometimes the loudest revenge is silence. I had left her behind, but the weight of betrayal didn't vanish just because I packed a suitcase and walked out. The silence I carried became both my armor and my burden. Months passed, and while I tried to convince myself I was free, the memories haunted me. Every smile, every whispered promise, every night we had spent together, they all felt poisoned. My wife's affair wasn't just infidelity, it was the theft of a life I thought we shared. At first, I avoided everyone. I didn't want to explain, didn't want to see pity in their eyes. But the world doesn't pause for heartbreak. Friends called, family knocked, and eventually, the truth slipped out in fragments. Some reacted with shock, others with anger, but the one reaction that stuck with me was quiet sympathy. "You didn't deserve this," my sister told me over the phone. And for the first time, I let myself cry where someone could hear it. While I stayed away, my wife tried to pull me back in. Even with her number blocked, she found ways: emails, letters, even sending mutual friends to beg me to return. At first, she claimed it had been a mistake, just a fling, something meaningless. Then her excuses shifted. She said I had been distant, that she felt unloved, that she hadn't meant to hurt me. Finally, when I didn't respond, her tone turned venomous. She accused me of being cowardly, of walking out without giving her a chance to explain. But I knew her explanations were lies. If it had been meaningless, it wouldn't have lasted a year. If she had felt unloved, she could have spoken to me instead of laughing in another man's arms. Every letter she sent only confirmed that leaving silently had been the right choice. Still, part of me wanted closure, not for her sake, but for mine. So when she sent one final message asking to meet in a public place, I agreed. We sat across from each other in a cafe, strangers sharing a table where love had once lived. She looked thinner, her eyes tired, her smile hesitant. "You left without saying anything," she whispered. "Do you have any idea how that felt?" I let out a bitter laugh. "Do you have any idea how it felt to hear you laugh with him in my own house?" Her face crumbled, tears spilling over. "It wasn't what you think." Don't," I cut her off. "Don't insult me by pretending it was less than it was. I heard enough. I saw enough. And I lived a year of lies because of you." For a moment, silence stretched between us, heavy and final. Then she reached across the table, her hand trembling. "I made a mistake. Please, come home." I stared at her hand, the same hand that had once held mine at the altar, and all I felt was emptiness. "There is no home," I said, my voice steady. "You destroyed it. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to forgive. I'm here to tell you I'm done." She pulled her hand back, her face twisting with regret and rage. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "You think you're strong, but you're just running away." I stood, my chair scraping against the floor. "No," I said. "I'm not running anymore. I'm walking away quietly, like I should have from the start." And with that, I left her sitting there, alone with her guilt. That was the last time I saw her. Divorce papers followed, signed without drama. She fought for the house, the car, even some of my savings, but I didn't care. What mattered was freedom. She could take the walls and furniture, but she could never take back the silence I had chosen as my weapon. Life after her wasn't easy. Nights were long, loneliness sharp, but I learned to fill the spaces with new things. I reconnected with friends, spent time with family, and most importantly, I began to rebuild myself. Therapy helped. Writing helped. Slowly, I started to remember who I was before betrayal consumed me. One evening, almost a year after I left, I walked past that old house. Lights glowed inside, but it no longer felt like mine. It was just bricks and wood where laughter had once lived and lies had thrived. I smiled, not with sadness, but with relief. That chapter was closed. People often ask me why I didn't fight, why I didn't confront her, why I didn't expose her affair to the world. My answer is simple: sometimes the loudest revenge is silence. By leaving quietly, I denied her the chance to manipulate, to twist the truth, to turn my pain into her story. My silence forced her to face herself, without me to argue, without me to forgive. And as for me? I walked away scarred, but stronger. I learned that love can be fragile, trust can be broken, but dignity, that's something you can choose to protect. I quietly left after discovering my wife's affair. And though it nearly broke me, it also saved me. Because sometimes, the strongest voice you'll ever have is the one that doesn't say a word.